Despite a growing backlash against the technology industry, the pace of innovation continues to accelerate. For Tech Republic and ZDNet, I'm Dan Patterson with Tech Republic's Jason Heiner, and these are the 4 most important technology innovations of 2017. Jason, it's important to understand the emergence of artificial intelligence. What's driving this innovation?
Yeah, it's the hottest topic in tech right now, right? And it's going to continue to be. It's affecting a lot of areas, nearly every area of tech and IT and business technology. But the #1 area it's affecting most is customer service. So Gartner and other analysts estimate that by 2020, 80% of all customer interactions, customer service interactions, will be managed by AI. So chatbots, other virtual assistant-like technology. One example of an industry that's being affected by this is real estate. So in real estate, a lot of times there's a number to call. You see a house you're interested in, you call and you ask, what's the square footage? Does it have a basement? How many rooms? What's the price per square foot? Those kinds of things. Information that's readily available on a data sheet, and so it's easy for an algorithm to take that information and then present it to a user, either on the phone or in a chat window. But if they have questions that are not on the data sheet, when was the last time the roof was fixed, replaced, then they can escalate that to an actual person. So you're seeing AI having its first real deep impact on business and the enterprise in customer service. It will go and affect others from there, but that's where it's going to start.
So kind of dovetailing with AI is the emergence of the Internet of Things, IoT. It's anticipated that in the next 3 to 5 years, we'll see 20 to 50 billion devices in the marketplace. How is the enterprise, how is business technology using IoT?
Yeah, so in the business tech world, IoT really dovetails with big data. So a lot of what IoT is about is it's being able to measure and monitor and manage things that you never could before. And once you can do that, then you can drive radical efficiency. So whether it's in shipping containers or medical devices or other parts, retail, nearly every industry, when you're able to put those sensors in things, you're able to find shortcuts, you're able to find inefficiencies that you didn't know existed, and then use data to understand them and eventually automate them. And that's where IoT is having a massive impact. It's really an automation story when it comes to the enterprise, when you talk about IoT. And it's also a data story, right? And that's where a lot of these things intersect. So IoT uses sensors, data helps you analyze it, and then AI, machine learning, helps you automate the stuff away.
All of these trends seem to dovetail, and you said the magic word there, big data. And not just big data, but big data is now starting to pick winners, especially in the social space.
Yeah, so the big data and data in general, data is the new oil. Data is the most powerful factor in the technology industry for this era that we're in, and is going to continue to be. We've seen 3 companies that are blowing away industries, disrupting new companies, and disrupting whole new sectors of the economy. And those 3 companies are doing it because they understand data better than anybody else. And of course, that's Amazon, Facebook, and Google. And because they understand data better than anybody else, they understand their customers better, they understand markets better. And data is going to have that impact on every industry. So you're going to see all kinds of people rise to the front and others fall to the wayside based on whether they understand data and which ones understand data the best. The companies that use data the best are winning. It's going to happen in every industry. It's going to happen in media. It's going to happen in publishing. It's going to happen in advertising. It's going to happen in real estate. It's going to happen in healthcare. Virtually every industry is going to be touched by this. And we're really seeing the beginnings of that now, and that's the thing to look for in every industry. Look for who understands data the best. Even in old industries, heavy industries, gas, oil, even agriculture. You look at somebody like John Deere in agriculture, they are the disruptive force because they've understood data better than anybody else for a long time. even with some privacy and other implications. So you also have to understand the PR story, how to make sure your customers are comfortable with the way that you handle their data as part of that story as well.
Number 4 on our list is security, biometric security. Apple, of course, had Touch ID. They just introduced Face ID. And this is part of a larger trend of using biometric security to maybe replace the password.
Yeah, as you know, because you cover cybersecurity a lot, one of the challenges in cybersecurity is the more secure you make things, often the harder it is for users to use them. Two-factor authentication has helped a lot because if having a good password is like locking the front door, two-factor authentication is like putting a deadbolt on, right? The problem is both of those things, if you have longer passwords, if you have two-factor authentication, it's a lot harder to unlock your door and then your bolt and go in versus it is just opening the door, right? But that also is where security comes in. So biometrics have made this a better story because it is faster with a thumbprint like Touch ID and others, other phones and other laptops even have used. It's faster and more secure to use a fingerprint than it is a PIN or a passcode. So it's better for users and it's more secure. Face ID and sort of facial recognition is the next stage of that. We also have, iris scanning can play into this as well as other kinds of biometric identification. So with Apple introducing Face ID, they say it's actually much more secure. There's a large order of magnitude more security in that facial scan than there is in being able to fake or have a fingerprint that's the same as somebody else, right? So what they see is it's taking it up a notch. Now, usability, there's some arguments there. We'll talk about that when we talk about in a separate video when we talk about Apple. But you have to look at the progress of Face ID in addition to the prevalence now of fingerprint scanners as a really good step toward closing that front door in security and improving what is the most critical issue in IT right now, which is cybersecurity and the cybersecurity threat. So it's a good step and an important step from this year.
Well, Jason, it's been a fascinating year in business technology. All of these innovations will continue to drive business tech in 2018. Where can people go to learn more, not just about your story, but about the technology in the story?
Yeah, so on each of these topics, we have deep dives on Tech Republic, our own long-form stories in many cases, as well as features and lots of video on each of these topics as well. Videos, interviews with experts, as well as our own folks. So you can find that all on techrepublic.com. You can also subscribe to our newsletters. The Top Story of the Day newsletter is the best place to keep up with the latest and what's going on Tech Republic. Our Next Big Thing newsletter is the best place to keep up with emerging technologies. And then, of course, we have cybersecurity newsletter, Apple in the Enterprise, and lots of others as well.